Good evening, parents. Thank you so much for coming tonight and logging in through your student's Canvas account to this very unorthodox back to school night. My name is Corey Catalano, and I'll be teaching your students English 11 class for the semester, probably the whole year, unless your student changed schedules. So let's get going because we don't have a lot of time. So just real quick here, you see the schedule. We only got about 15 minutes. Obviously, I'm recording this. This is a recording because I teach 6 periods of the same class. And so, what I'll do is I'll go for about 10 minutes and then this will end and then I'll take any questions. Okay. So, I've been at Warren for 21 years. I've only taught juniors and I really enjoy teaching the 11th grade. I really enjoy teaching juniors. And so far we've had a pretty good start. I'm pretty happy with where we've been so far, or what we've done so far, I should say. So here you can see the home screen that you guys logged into. A couple of important things I want to point out about the home screen that you guys logged into. You guys got the Zoom button. My office hour button is there. Recorded Zooms in past weeks at a glance. That's for students who are absent. If they want to see what they missed, they can go back. If I recorded my lesson and I posted it, that's a good chance for them to go watch it. And then my week at a glance. Every one of your teachers has what's called the week at a glance, and that's just what your student can expect for the week. And again, that's to help them with time management. Okay. Here you can see my Monday, Tuesday are exactly the same. My Thursday and Friday are exactly the same. And then my Wednesday is just a little different because I see every one of my classes on Wednesday. Okay. And just real quick, speaking about times, I kind of wanted to show you guys that my times are a little bit different. And you'll notice that on the Zoom button as well. Notes that I don't start exactly at 8:30 in the morning. I start at 8:45. I give an extra 15 minutes. And then on third and fourth period, I start at 10:20, which is a little bit, I think it's only like 4 minutes past, 5 minutes past, something like that, the normal time. And then period 5 and 6, I start at 1. I give a full half hour after 12:30 because I want to make sure, especially if the students are walking to get their lunch, that they have enough time to eat and get back and then be ready to go at 1 o'clock. Okay. Wednesday, though, my start times can't be any different. Wednesday, my start times, because it goes so fast, my start times all have to be the same. And again, I've got this listed on my home screen next to the Zoom button. So even though this is second period, if you're not in my second period class, you wouldn't see this. But my second period students will always see next to the Zoom button. Tuesdays or Fridays, promptly at 8:45. Wednesdays, promptly 9:05. Okay. Same thing goes for all my other classes. They've all got their start times that I just showed you next to their Zoom button as well. Okay. So I just kind of want to go through my syllabus and point out a couple really important things, questions that usually come up throughout the year about grading, class policies, expectations, all that good stuff. And again, you guys can look at this later if you want. All you got to do is click syllabus once this is over, or you come back to it later and you guys can see this as well. Okay. Always log on, their student ID, of course. Make sure you have a quiet place to work. I know that's really difficult. That's a tough one. And then always work on a computer. We're asking that because, we've had students working on phones, and you're not going to be able to type an essay up on a phone, or you shouldn't. So if you do need a Chromebook still, we still have Chromebooks available. Please contact Warren High School. Let them know your student needs a device, and they will get a device for your student. Okay. We really want them working on a computer, not a tablet or an iPhone or anything like that. Okay. Office hours are the same as every other teacher on campus: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. They send me a little note via Remind, and I will have no problem Zooming with them one on one, share screens. We can work on papers together, questions. So, yeah, that's always available. And then I'm also available via Remind past those hours too. Monday through Thursday. If you send me a remind message at 7 o'clock, 9 times out of 10, I respond to it. If the only reason I don't respond to it is if I don't see it, okay, or if it's something that requires me to log onto the computer and look in the morning, right? So my expectations are, I do expect them to be on time. I do expect them to be early. If they can log in early, they'll see that hold screen with Yogi Bear that you just saw, and there'll usually be some kind of music playing. Sometimes they like the music playing. Sometimes they don't like the music that's playing. And it just gives them a chance to let them know, hey, get all your materials together, have your stuff, be ready to go. Because as soon as that clock zeroes out, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. To be counted present, they must attend the entire session. They have to be actively engaged with each live session, and that usually requires having their camera on so I can see that they're actually there. Complete assignments on time, maintain good communication, communicate with me if there's any problems with the rights, which they've been really good about that. I've had lots of students tell me, hey, my internet wasn't working this morning, I couldn't get on, and so I fixed their attendance. It's not that big of a deal as long as they communicate with me. If they send me something 4 days later and say, hey, my internet wasn't working, by then I'm not going to change it. Okay. And then always maintain good citizenship, which again they've been doing. I've only had one small problem, and it got addressed pretty quickly. But I haven't had any Zoom bombs or anything like that. I know how to remove those students when they're a problem. So again, not a big issue. Again, their attendance is important though, and I know this is a tough one. However, we're fighting two battles here, right? The students that are really having technical problems or have crazy busy home lives, and then the students that are taking advantage of the situation. Because I have had a couple of students already that when I called on them, they weren't responding, and they weren't messaging in the chat. When I sent them an email, they didn't respond. Yeah, and so those students who do not respond with a timely fashion are going to be called upon, are going to be marked absent. If you don't have your camera on, I can't see that you're actually actively sitting there. Then when I call on you, I expect to hear your voice. Okay. Now I had a couple problems with microphones already. Again, those students can type in the chat and say, Mr. C, my microphone's not working. I can't figure it out. That's different. Okay. I've ended class and had students still logged on. And when I'm asking them, hey, are you okay? What's going on? Are you there? They probably walked away, left the login session going, and then didn't realize I actually ended the class. That's happened several times, not just to me, but it happens to other teachers too. Okay, we want to know they're there. We want to know they're actively engaged. Now, if little brother or sister or their dog jumps on them or comes across the screen, that's not a big deal. I really nothing I can do about that, and I understand that. So okay. So here's my class codes, my portals, all that good stuff. Most of this is your students have already addressed. Remind, I've got almost all my students in the Remind class by now. I'm hoping to get the last couple today. So ask your student if they haven't joined my Remind, they need to join my Remind class. No Red Ink. It's a grammar program we use. They have one assignment in it every week, which we'll talk about here in a second. Turnitin.com. That's how we're going to check for plagiarism. And then assignments. The default due date is 11:59, or the default due time is 11:59. However, I'm asking that students submit work before the start of the period. So like if we have an assignment that's due Wednesday, I'm going to put the time in Canvas at 11:59. However, if it's something I want to have them discuss or share out, if they haven't done it yet, then if it's not done, they can't share it and they're going to lose class participation points. What I told them was, hey, get your stuff done the best you can. And then if you still want to work on it afterwards, then you can edit it and you can proofread and you can do some of that final stuff before you submit it at 11:59. But anything after 11:59 is counted as late. Okay. And then late assignments lose 5% each day. They're late down to 60%. So that means if you're turning in something 2 weeks late, you can still get a D- on it. Okay. You can still get a 60%. But I do have deadlines. Okay. I do have late work deadlines. After the deadline for September the 4th, everything before September the 4th can't be turned in. Okay. This is the week before progress reports. Yes, that's this Friday, by the way. That means progress reports, yes, go out next week, believe it or not. Okay. October 2nd, this is the week before the quarter ends. This is the week for the second progress report. And this is the week before the semester ends. Oh my gosh, imagine that. Okay. Here are how my grades break down. And then grades with no score entered do not factor into the total grade. Only missing assignments with a score of 0 affect the overall grade. If they don't have a score entered, it just means I haven't input it yet or have graded it yet. So no need to worry about that. Zeros, that means they either didn't do it or they got a 0 on it. Okay, so zeros we should be worrying about. All right. And then yeah, the rest of it's just kind of how my grades break down, what involves homework, what the activity logs are, what class participation looks like, all that good stuff. Okay. The big thing right now that we're fighting with is attendance. We want to make sure that students are logging in. I've got 2 or 3 students in every single period that I just haven't heard from yet. And I'm emailing parents, I'm emailing students. Some parents are responding saying we're having issues. Some parents I'm not hearing from. And then other students are just having problems with technology. And again, that's to be expected. I completely understand with that. My internet went out just Tuesday morning, and I jumped in the car and was headed to Warren by the time my wife called me to tell me it's okay, we got work and you can come back. So I completely understand these things happen. And that's where the communicate with me is so important. That's where the communication is so important. Okay. One quick thing I do want to show you though about grades. If we go to the student view real quick, and I know I'm over, so I'm going to go fast. If a student submits something late, that 5% deduction, I just want you to see what it'll look like. This is what it'll look like. It'll say late with a score of 6 out of 10. If you click on the actual assignment, or if the student does, and they know this too, it'll actually show you the score they got. Okay, so it actually shows you grade 8 out of 10, but there's a penalty of 2 points because it was so many days late. Okay. So again, I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. I got to go because I'm out of time. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to email me. Okay. I check my email regularly. It's always open all day. And thank you again so much for coming tonight, and have a good evening. And now I'll take some questions.